There ain't no way. Are we gonna start it there?
Yes, we are. What a cold open.
What?
I said, what a cold open.
Welcome, everyone, to Waves on the Shore. Apparently the internet's quirkiest, strangest, now he's seductively eating gummy worms podcast. Hosted by myself and Jaren, as for always. We've got a good few things lined up here for you guys. I just had a thought mid, introduction, and it completely threw me off. Because I went to go pull up Who the Frick and completely forgot to actually get it on my phone. Which is the whole purpose of me going up. So, cut this, because I'm switching tabs.
What?
So. Oh, wait, maybe not.
More.
Wait, I think I'll be okay.
Okay, we're fine. We're just gonna keep going. Anyway,
guys,
gonna
see my face get really bright for a second.
Well, we're gonna talk about Morgan Wallen today because of his 3 singles.
We have to.
What else are we gonna do? Are we gonna do Randy Houser? Do we want to talk about that?
Randy Houser.
Okay, I do have some things to say. I'm sure Evan has things to say too, because we have a podcast and
silent podcast this episode.
just brood while I talk, just like smolder at the camera.
Yeah, I want to, 90% of communication is non-verbal, so I'm kind of wanting to adopt that theory on the podcast and see how it goes. Jaren is clearly expressing his thoughts with me at the moment.
Clearly. As
the listeners can tell. But yeah, we've got a good few things lined up. Should we start with Morgan Wallen, realistically?
Yeah, I was thinking we'll do Morgan Wallen, and then we can just run through Randy Houser. I imagine that won't take too long. And then we'll do our raps, the Spotify raps, and then the Evan's Apple replay. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure what they called it. And then probably a little bit of Who the Frick and
just a little bit.
The usual. What is it called? What are we listening to? That's what it is.
It's a pretty
and
solid
also
agenda.
We should acknowledge that we took a week off. The only reason is that we felt like there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, and
you were very busy with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was busy with Thanksgiving, and we had been doing weekly episodes for a while now, so we figured why not just take a week off, and so we did.
And now we got a lot to talk about, especially in the way of Morgan Wallen.
Yep.
And that's a good entry point into Morgan Wallen. Obviously, he decided to completely take over the internet again because he hopped on yesterday and basically said, yo, new tour, 3 new songs, all coming out at once, similar to what Ernest did, dropping the 3 songs at once earlier this year. I don't know how big a fan I am of the triple single drop, because that's a good chunk, right? All at once. If you're gonna drop any more than that before an album, it starts getting to be quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't mind that it's all at once. It's just that we better not drop a million other songs. You know what I'm saying?
He could get away with it on Dangerous because there were 30 songs. He dropped.
I was gonna say it also depends.
Once,
I was gonna say it depends how big this album is.
Please don't be another 30-song album.
Yeah.
Please
I would love a concise 12-track album.
That's all we need.
I would even take 10, but if it's 10, then we've already heard 3 of the songs. So I maybe a little bit longer.
So it's pick your poison at this stage already.
Yeah. I really want to. Okay, so people have talked about the album art, or at least I don't know if this might be the album art for the actual album, but it is for at least for these singles. I dig it, but I also feel like I think Grady mentioned that it kind of reminded him of American Heartbreak a little bit, and I can see that, but this honestly gives me Noah Kahan vibes.
Yeah, I see that more.
Just because of the brown and the green. It's just a ton of brown and green, which is what Stick Season is. And so when I saw this, I was like, okay, Morgan's setting a vibe. And then I heard the songs, and I was like, the songs aren't bad. Let me just, they're not bad. But I don't know. I hunger for I think Days That End in Y kind of gave me this vibe, but the other 2 songs, I just don't know. Sure. I want to know what he's going for.
I think
is this is this the album art? Like, is this the album art?
Because I think
like,
aesthetically, I kind of touched on this in my video a little bit. I think the lo-fi aesthetic pairs well with the song One Thing at a Time, but I think visually, like what we're actually seeing here, a rotting cabin with him at a campfire, that would pair more towards Days That End in Why. That sound, of course, he's going to give us a little bit of everything because he's Morgan Wallen and he's going to top the charts and he's going to satisfy everyone.
Sure,
but
I'm not expecting him to drop a Noah Kahan style album.
But
like that's not what I'm asking for.
Can he? That'd be kind of nice.
That would be kind of cool, I think. But he's not gonna do that.
He ain't gonna. Prove me wrong, though. Prove me wrong, Morgan.
Yeah. Do it. I don't know. I just want to. I guess I want to know what he is trying to do, because I feel like I don't know the direction of where this is going. Like,
in all likelihood, I think.
And I have some other questions too, because a precedent has been set that he has released songs like year and a half in advance, and it has showed up on albums like Dangerous.
So are you asking if Don't Think Jesus thought you should?
I'm asking if those songs are those going to show up? Like, is You Proof on this album? Because You Proof does not, like, the vibe of You Proof and this album art is not, which is maybe I'm nitpicking, but I would not.
I think it's
I don't even hate New Proof. No, I can't even talk. You Proof. I don't even hate You Proof. I just don't know if I would like it. I'd have to hear the rest of the album, though, I guess. I can't say that it would suck.
Don't Think Jesus and You Proof are all on this album as well, then I think we are getting another monster.
Sure.
Which I'm not really looking for. I've kind of had enough of these massive albums. Let's give me something a little more concise.
Mm-hmm.
But
give me something tasteful.
Yeah, just it's like the... It's funny, I was literally talking to Grady about this a little bit ago. But it's like the saying, I'm going to butcher it, not word for word. There's a saying, if you can... Well, I guess it's not a saying, it's more of an idea. If you can say something in, 5 minutes, but say the same thing in 30 seconds, you should say it in 30 seconds. And I think that kind of applies for albums here, where it's if we can get the point in 10 songs, let's not drop 27. And it becomes conflicting, because then you look at American Heartbreak, which when I'm making my year-end list, I'm trying to figure out where this lands, and it's I like all the songs, but did we really need 34? Did we need that many to get this same idea across, where I look at an album, I'm going to use Ernest for example, and it's maybe Ernest wasn't as crazy, it didn't shift country culture like American Heartbreak did, but it was just a very solid 10-song album that got everything out of its system in that 30 minutes. So it's which one's better? What do I like more? It's stop putting me in this position, just drop good length albums, okay?
I totally agree with that for sure. And I don't know. I want to touch on because I watched it was Grady's video. You were in his video, and I watched yours too.
That was funny,
covering the Morgan stuff.
Can I give a little bit of context to that?
Oh, sure.
So, and then I'll let you keep going. I was in Toronto all day, touring different schools and stuff for next year, and we roll in at 11:45. I've not seen anything about Morgan Wallen. I've been out all day. I'm exhausted. I want to go to bed. And I log on, I see Country Central post Morgan Wallen's dropping 3 songs tonight, and I'm like, wow, I guess I have to stay up another 15 minutes. And then Grady texts me at midnight. He's like, hey, yo, do you want to, I'm recording a reaction. Do you want to hop on? And I'm just like, well, yeah, might as well. Then we had some technical difficulties, and long story short, I was up till about 2:15 a.m.,
I would hate that, man.
I worked early the next morning, so the next morning wasn't great, but it was worth it. It was a good night. I always enjoy my videos with Grady.
I know that feels. It's The thing is, like, I would totally be down to stay, but like when you do that on like a Thursday night, and I'm just trying to make it through Friday at work, and it's like I'm not staying. I'm not.
I quit coffee for the last 2 months, but I took a nice big mug to work that next morning. I was like, I need this. So yeah,
Man.
continue. I just wanted.
Oh, okay. So I was saying. Oh yeah. So you guys were saying that you really like. Was it? It's one
Thing.
one day thing at a time. Sorry, and it's days that end in Y. That's the two different. Yeah, one thing at a time seems to be. Well, I think okay. I know I didn't finish what I was about to say right there, but I'm just thinking. One thing at a time. They're all good. I just don't know how I feel about them because I think I'm at the opposite end of where you're at, where I think Days That End in Y is my favorite, and Tennessee Fan is my second favorite, and One Thing at a Time is my third favorite.
That makes sense though, because that's like from countryest to least country.
Maybe, yeah. But I enjoy One Thing at a Time, and maybe it just needs to warm up to me. It feels very Ernest-y, and I'm pretty sure Ernest did co-write it.
He did, I believe.
Yeah. And I like that about it. It just doesn't really, I don't know. I know I enjoy the writing. It just doesn't really do anything for me. I like the Days That End in Y thing with the ceiling fan and I know there's the whole football thing, and yeah, we've had enough of those. But I really enjoy Tennessee Fan.
I like it.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and when I saw that Hardy was a writer, you can tell that Hardy's on it. So it's like, yeah, these are three solid tracks. I just don't know what to expect.
I think I do know what to expect from the album. I think looking at what we've gotten so far, how scatterbrained it is, I think this is my prediction, I'm saying like pretty good like 16 or 17, 18 songs. I'm seeing
I don't want that many.
I know, but I'm seeing it in there, and I'm going to say like, unfortunately, against what I would have wanted for his comeback album, I think it's going to be a lot more of this, which isn't like a bad thing. It's not like we said, it's not these songs are bad, but I don't know how much evolution we're going to see. I think it's going to be another helping of some pretty good country songs, some pretty good pop country songs, and a few really good ones.
Sure.
I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of evolution, which I can't count them out. I mean, the whole rest of the album still has to come out. But that's my prediction. I think he's too big to take a risk like that, even though I think if it worked, it would pay off massively.
Interesting. Do you think we're going to get a song kind of like Seven Summers, where it's like a pre-release, but it's like just like absolutely just like massive? Because I feel like when Seven Summers, everybody wanted it. And obviously that's a little bit differently because we knew Seven Summers was coming because we got the demo. But like, do you think we're going to get another single, I guess is what I'm saying? That's just going to be like, okay, this is it.
I think there's got to be one more. I'd be surprised if he doesn't drop something else before the whole album.
Sure.
As for if it's going to be this massive hit, that's up to the song. I think the teasing works a lot of the
only reason I asked that is because I feel like
I don't think any.
I was expecting one of these to hit me a little bit more than they did.
I get that. Like, even though
I guess that's why I asked that.
Even though I'm really bumping One Thing at a Time, even though I think it's a great song, it doesn't stick that much. Like I don't see it. It doesn't hit that hard. I don't see it being one that I'm going to be going back to a whole lot.
Sure.
In 2 weeks. It feels like one of those nice songs that I'm going to like for a period of time and then move on from.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a song that just feels like a juggernaut. It feels like it has longevity to it. So I guess you have to. I think it's too early to say if there's gonna be like another smash. I mean,
For sure.
there will be one that, whether we like it or not, there will
whether
be
we
one that is
whether
gonna,
we want it or not.
what?
I said whether we want it or not.
Yeah, there will be one that's just like enormous. It's Morgan Wallen. It has to
Yeah.
happen like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
There will
if I'm being honest, I feel like the Thought You Should Know and Don't Think Jesus were way more. They felt way more significant
Yeah,
than these three.
I agree.
And I still go back to Thought You Should Know and Don't Think Jesus quite a bit. I think those are two of his best songs he's put out in a while.
I find myself enjoying his live, like, not leaked. The one that he performed Don't Think Jesus on, like, Instagram, like, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I actually think I like that live version more than the studio one. Studio one's not horrible or anything. It just feels more personal, maybe. Intimate.
Well, it's so intimate with just him and his guitar.
Yeah, and it's also not produced at all. And then obviously, Thought You Should Know is obviously just amazing. I think. It's
I
great.
think if he announced an album and dropped those two songs, that I would be
like those were the two singles.
Those are
that
the
he
two
dropped?
singles. I'd be like, get your seatbelts on. We're going for a ride.
Yeah,
But as it is, I feel like Thought You Should Know and Don't Think Jesus are. I want to say they're not getting put on the album but at the same time, why wouldn't he? I mean, he's pushing Thought You Should Know as the single right now. It's got to see a music video. Which is also smart by him. Drop a music video and then 7 days later, drop some new songs. But, I don't know.
I did just remember that when he, in preparation for Dangerous, when he announced its release date and the tour and stuff, he did that in November of 2020. And he dropped 3 songs then. And I felt like those 3 songs stuck with me more than these 3 songs.
What were it was
Living the Dream.
Living the Dream.
I think it was, and then Red Letters, Red Dirt.
And Still Going Down. That was the other.
I think it was those 3. I think.
Was it Rednecks Red Letters? It was not Rednecks.
It might not have been.
Because that was one of the ones he like put out on TikTok right before, saying like, if I'm gonna leak my own songs, they're gonna get leaked. Somebody's problem. It was somebody's problem.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Somebody's problem.
I was just wrong.
Still Going Down and Living the Dream.
Yeah, that was it.
Man, I'm looking.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm looking at Dangerous now and just remembering like, what elite times as a country fan it was when Dangerous dropped. Same thing like I'll be doing the same thing in like a year with American Heartbreak. I'll be looking at like, man, what an elite moment.
Sure. I feel differently about. I think that time felt a little bit. I love American Heartbreak. I do think it's good. I feel differently about it though because it's at the latter end of. Well, I hope it's at the latter end of this massive album movement, and it caught me at a time where I'm like, okay, stop.
That's fair. Whereas Dangerous was this cool like,
yo,
it was dropping like 30 songs.
Yeah, and so it feels a little bit differently to me, but they're both still. And honestly, American Heartbreak is probably is the better album.
It used to, at the time of Dangerous, that sparked the double album trend, but even it was a little bit ahead of that. So we weren't, when Dangerous was kicking around, we were all just like, yo, he's doing that? Is that allowed?
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. I'm just not sure. In terms of, I just want it to be. I don't know. I just want it to be good. I want to like it more than I do so far. It's not bad. I felt like in terms of like when Dangerous was coming out, I felt like the rollout, I was a little bit more enamored with it. But that being said, I'm still excited. Still interested to see what he does.
Probably because Dangerous had 7 Summers tied to it.
Well, that's true, but I'm thinking of like when those 3 singles came out, those 3 songs. Somebody's Problem is a banger. It just is.
At the same that is fair. But at the same time, maybe it was easier to get hyped about those 3 because we could put it into context, because he announced that it's a 30-song album.
That's fair.
With it, we are only speculating now. We don't know what it's a part of. We don't know what songs are where. So it's harder to like see it. It's harder to see it right now. So
yeah. So we'll see.
Oh well, Morgan Wallen, interesting guy.
Oh well,
whatever.
all right. How about that Randy Houser guy? I
How
feel
about
bad
it?
for this. I feel.
You feel bad?
Well, no, like it has my sympathy, and I'll explain.
All right,
because it's not a.
Please elaborate.
I don't like, and it's not because this album isn't bad. It's just like nobody. Well, okay, well, let me preface it with this. Like, you're following up Magnolia, which in the first place, the general country music world, I feel like didn't really listen to Magnolia, like, at all. Like, it just wasn't. It didn't.
And that
what
undeserved.
saying?
It was deserving of the attention that it did not receive.
But it didn't get any.
It didn't get any.
And so then I'm like, okay, so what is he gonna do? And I was always worried. It's like I would go to Magnolia because it's one of my favorite albums ever, and I would look at the numbers and I'd be like, I'm worried that he's gonna. That whole album was about him kind of doing his thing, like believing in himself, not pandering to the Nashville thing. That's what No Stone Unturned is about. And so I'm like, is he gonna get discouraged and like go back to making subpar mediocre stuff?
The answer is somewhat.
And the answer is somewhat, yes. I'm glad that he didn't fully do that. This album is still far from bad. It's a decent album. It's actually a pretty good album. It's just that nobody's talking about it. And maybe my biggest complaint is that a majority of the songs just, they don't sound bad. They're not bad. They just all kind of run together a little bit for me. Some of them do.
I can kind of hear that.
I
think for me, I was just like.
I just think a lot of them are pretty good. Like they're just pretty good. Like
I think
that's
they're pretty
that's what
broad.
I mean.
Coming from Magnolia, I think the beauty of Magnolia was just how.
It felt more personal, yeah.
Yeah, it was how Randy Houser was. It's like, what's going on in his mind? Well, this is what's going on. These are his thoughts about this, and these circumstances can only be applied to Randy. That's what made it so interesting. Whereas this album, I feel like pretty much all of these songs you could have given to anybody else, and they would have been just as effective.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we got, I think Note to Self was his first single off of this
and
album.
I wasn't huge on it.
And I also was just kind of like, this is okay. like, and that's just kind of, I don't even know. I think, because I do think this album is better than just okay. It still has good instrumentation. It's got good charisma. There's a couple songs that I do think are pretty good. And I think Call Me's fun. I kind of like Call Me.
Crazy how similar it is to Call Me by Luke Combs. I don't think there's enough time in between them that they're intentional.
Wow.
But
I don't even know if I remember that song.
Same title, and they're almost like on other sides. So Luke Combs is saying like, you can call me like this, blah 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 blah. Call me this, blah 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 blah. But you're still gonna call me. Randy Houser is saying, you can, like, I don't care what you call me, but just please call me.
Yeah.
And it's very, like, so even though they're on opposite, they're in very
slightly different vibes,
situations.
But, yeah.
They're in very different circumstances. Ridiculously, like, it's like a yin-yang. They're just, like, serving the opposite purpose.
Yeah, but it's the same song, but also not the same song.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like a twin that, like, they're not identical.
Is that off of Luke Combs' first album?
No, it's off the new one.
Wait, is it actually?
Yeah.
I don't remember it at all, bro.
Jaren says he listens to the music we talk about, but...
Okay, to be fair, that album came out in June.
Yeah.
And when it came out, I said that it was mid. So... So I had no comment. I guess that was a very appropriate, a very appropriate to how I feel about the album. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, man. Actually, on that, I know I've talked about this before, but I just need Luke to do what he did on his version of Seminole Wind. Like, please, just do that. Just do that. Make an album with that passion. Like, oh my gosh, that's such a.
That was a great cover.
It's a great cover. It just is. What's my hair doing? Sorry. I saw a little distraction. I don't know. Evan, what did you... I don't know. Like, what did we... I can't even... It's hard for me to rate this Randy Houser thing. It's just... It's definitely...
I think it's all right. I think it's good.
It pales in comparison to Magnolia, because I do think Magnolia is one of the best country albums of the past, like, probably, 10 years. I think it's really good. I love Magnolia.
I think it has nothing to Magnolia. I think if anyone else dropped this, I would have listened to it and then proceeded to go about my day and say, yeah, that was pretty good. I think it just feels maybe a little more underwhelming because we're just coming from Magnolia.
Yeah, just because of what preceded it, what it had to follow up. And I think Brett Eldredge's album finds itself in a similar boat, although I do think his second, what is it? Songs for You.
Songs About You.
I think Songs About You was a better follow up, but it still wasn't as good as Sunday Drive.
That album definitely I think I gave it a 9, and I think that was maybe generous, but people were saying most disappointing album of the year, and I'm like, wait, it's still gonna be in my top 10. You better believe I was jamming to the title track. You better believe the light at those things where the light meets the sea.
No, there's
don't sleep on it, man. Just because it wasn't Sunday Drive doesn't mean it wasn't fantastic. But
yeah,
I see the similarities, especially if you're not. I can see how other people would see that similarity, because for me, I liked it more than a lot of other people. But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and. I do think there are a couple more songs on Songs About You than on, what's Randy Houser's album called? Note to Self. I could, bro, it's...
You can't pull the time, it's 6:47.
Yeah, I know, at this point, I'm just always tired. That's what it is. If I don't have the thing right in front of me, I have to find it. I'm really bad about that. Anyway, I think that goes to, actually, that's a good thing. That helps me convey how I feel about this. It's a good album, but it's not good enough for me to remember the title. I would say, and because we were kind of doing this similar thing with Brett Eldredge, I would say that, I honestly think that Magnolia and Sunday Drive, I like them about equally. And in terms of follow-ups, I think that Songs for You is just a little bit below those ones, or Songs About You, I mean. And then Note to Self is, a little bit down here. Not bad, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna rate it. I don't know what I would give it. I did not listen to. I know we had texted about Brantley Gilbert's album. Have you heard anything about it? Because I have not.
I listened to it.
Oh. Were there any good songs? Were there any
So I listened to it once.
Because every now and then he's got some.
I remember
on his older albums he has some deep cuts that are have you heard 3 Feet of Water?
Oh, I have, because maybe it was you that told me to.
Oh,
but
well, he has he's got some album cuts that are always tend to be pretty good, but the rest of the album is usually.
I remember She's the One being kind of a nice rock moment. I remembered enjoying that one.
You don't seem confident about that.
Because I can't remember everything about it. I just remember liking that.
Oh, okay.
I remember hearing.
I thought you
were not that it was crazy.
Just lying to yourself.
Thinking yeah, this is pretty good. Because you got to think we're coming from Rolex on a Redneck.
Yeah.
So, the album was all right. I mean, How to Talk to Girls is about as good as I thought it would be.
Sure.
It wasn't too memorable. I just remember feeling like this is decent, and then there are moments where I hate it. It kind of peaks at all right, yeah, I can listen to this, but then you got stuff like Rolex on a Redneck that are just or the worst country song of all time's on here, and it's just like that.
Was he
seems
also
like,
on? Wait, that's on this album.
and that just seems like way more of a novelty single than an album cut. Like, why is that on an album ever? Anyone's album? It's interesting.
Hold on, I have to.
There's
see
Son of
this
the
track.
Dirty South with Jelly Roll. I did not like that one. I get Jelly Roll doing his rap thing, but that song was just obnoxious.
Jelly Roll confuses me, and I
Yeah.
won't get super into it. But I have heard "Son of a Sinner," and I think that song is actually pretty decent. But I'll pass on most of the stuff that I've heard from Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Also, his
Country
I
rapper tier
understand.
list question mark. Kid G bottom tier. Have you heard Kid G?
No, I have not.
Oh
Could-
my gosh, you are missing something, my man.
Am I?
Have you
Am I?
never heard of Kid G?
No. Kid G.
Like 2 D's, Kiddg.
Kid G.
Look him up right now.
Oh my gosh.
I do not. I don't
need
have
this in my
much
life
to
right now.
say. I just don't like
Okay.
Kid G.
Then we won't talk about Brantley Gilbert anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
Kid G. He looks like a kid
there
that
a
I would have
literal
wanted to
hippo
punch
running
that
around
goes to my high
upstairs?
school.
Like, these footsteps are nuts. Oh, he's got tattoos now. Blood, Sweat, and Beers is his new song. Oh, that's with Logan Michael. Oh, what a collab.
He
What
has a
collab.
song. Wait, hold on. This kid, he has a song with 50 million streams. He has a song
Oh, yeah,
with
no,
Lil
he's
Uzi
big.
Vert.
He's big. Yeah. He's done a song with Lil Uzi. Like, that's why I'm surprised you never heard of him.
No, I've literally never heard a single person talk about this person ever. How old is this kid?
He's like our age, I think. I think he's like 18.
Wild.
Kid G
Okay.
age. Yeah, he's 19. When's his
How
birthday?
did?
April.
Oh, he's a TikTok kid.
No,
Ah!
I think he's been popping before TikTok.
It said he found fame online through TikTok and SoundCloud.
Or maybe that's where it all started. I thought he was SoundCloud. That's what I thought he was. I tell you what, though. Local police, blood, sweat, and beers, this guy's not of age. So, something's fishy. Down Home
I don't
Boy.
even-
I didn't listen to that album. I don't.
All right,
think I
I'm
want
tired
to.
of talking about this person.
Yeah.
What? Heaven help me. What are we doing next?
Spotify.
Oh yeah, let's talk about our rafting stuff that I actually think is cool and interesting.
Yeah, mine's not as cool and interesting.
I guess that's true. Yours is well.
Well, no. I mean,
least we have
Apple
a-
in general. I don't have a lot of stats I can pull up.
Yeah, that's fair.
I kind of
That's
just
fair.
have like I can say like my top albums. I can say my, but it's not. I'm not gonna be able to pull out like top, like everything. I can't do. all that stuff.
Sure. Well,
Mine was also really boring. It was really bland this year.
yeah.
I was kind of disappointed. Like, it was just embarrassingly dominated by The Weeknd and his new album. Like, pretty much my entire top 10 was that album.
You just kept coming back to it. Yeah.
I did. I think it's a great album, but it makes for a really boring replay because it's just like,
Yeah.
your top artist was The Weeknd. Your top album was Dawn FM. Your top 10 songs were all The Weeknd from Dawn FM. And it's just like, man, this is so... Like, I loved it. Like, in fairness, it's a pretty good representation of how much I listened to that album, how much I enjoyed that album. But man,
Did it-
it's just like there's no variety there. I'm just like, wow, okay.
So does Apple Replay tell you how many minutes you listened to last year?
They just changed it from hours to minutes this year, and I think I was 46,000 minutes,
Okay.
and I think I had 2,000 of The Weeknd, 3,000. Something.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Quite a bit.
Interesting. All right.
Let's
So-
hear yours. You've probably got more cool things to share.
Mine has more variety, but I also have a little bit of beef because I think there were some errors, or at least I have discovered
There were
some
definitely
inconsistencies.
no. I actually think there were some mistakes on mine because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they collect the data, but they must do it a certain way.
All right.
I don't know.
One
But anyway.
one second.
Oh. Something must be going on upstairs. I can't hear it. Maybe you guys can.
Yes, you literally can. I'm literally recording, so you literally can. Sorry, my little brother uses the stairs like... And of course, I am situated beside the stairs. I don't even know if anyone could hear that, but it was bugging me. Continue.
The viewers might have been able to hear it, but I couldn't hear anything at all.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get into my rap, and then I'll explain the
I can give some things like like my top country.
Oh, for sure,
my top artists and stuff, but I don't have like my musical color. I don't have stuff like that.
My musical color.
Whatever it is. It's
cool, basically though. Like a, I don't know, what's the, crap, what are they called? It's like the horoscope stuff. Like I'm a Gemini or I'm like a...
But it's like I'm orange.
It's like a... Well, yeah, here, let me just... I have my phone up right here, so why don't we... excuse me. Oh, jeez. Oh, good lord. Okay. Well, I will already just go ahead and say that Lizzie McAlpine was my top artist. And then here, I'm pulling it up right now. My listening personality, which is kind of like, depending on how you listen and like just the stuff you're listening to, how often, what it is, your Spotify kind of does an analysis of it. And me and Grady actually got the same thing. It's the adventurer. You're a seeker of sound. You venture out into the unknown, searching for fresher artists, deeper cuts, and newer tracks, especially gems yet to be found. Which I would say for the most part is true.
True.
Most of the stuff that I listen to on like intentionally and often would be stuff like Bo Armstrong. And when I found Lizzie McAlpine, she was a lot smaller than she is now over the past
She's
like 12
pretty
months.
big now.
She has gotten big. When her new album came out, it like, I think it really kind of helped her, especially with having like Phineas on the album and other stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a big shout out.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, interesting. That one made sense. I spent 2,800 minutes listening to podcasts.
Wow.
Well, I actually listen to a fair amount of podcasts. Every now and then I'll throw on, one of my favorite podcasts is The Weekly Planet, which is a movie podcast. They just talk about movies and pop culture and stuff like that. I highly recommend if that's your thing. Really good, really charismatic, funny co-hosts. And I'll list off the rest of my top artists and stuff. So I was not expecting Ernest, Wild Rivers, and John Foreman to be in my top 5, but according to Spotify, they are. So Lizzie McAlpine was number 1. Then Wild Rivers. Do you remember who Wild Rivers is? Because I think I brought... I think I brought one of their albums to... Yeah, I brought one of their albums to the podcast once for What Are We Listening To?
I remember the name, so...
And I honestly really enjoy them. But I wasn't expecting them to be number 2. And I have Spotistats, which I don't know if I've told you about this, but it's like it's a third-party app where they like it's kind of like you don't really need to wait for your Wrapped, but the Wrapped kind of gives you some other things.
Well, you're able to check your Apple Replay throughout the year, so I kind of knew what I was getting myself into because I checked like every few months. I'd be like, "What's it looking like right now?"
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I kind of at the same time though, it makes the like if you want to wait, you can, but it makes it less climactic.
The suspense,
but especially when it's something like, well, nothing's...
You would have been really disappointed if you had waited and it was all just the weekend.
Oh, I know. I would have been like, man, bro, what is...
Oh, have I don't know if I've mentioned this. So, like, 2 years ago, I like to sometimes throw on, like, thunderstorm, rainstorm noises to go to sleep to. And on Spotify, I was like, oh, I can find some stuff on Spotify. So every night for, like... 4 months, I threw it on. It was like a playlist of all these different ambient tracks. And my, like, almost my entire, like, year-end playlist was just full of, like, it's like the title track is The Winds Blow, or, like, roaring thunderstorm, and I was like, bro. So if you go onto my Spotify, like on Spotify, you can go to like my all-time listens. A ton of my top 100. It's just like ambient noise that I've listened to more than 100 times.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I hated it. So I made a point. I purposefully don't do that anymore. I hated that. Anyway, let me finish. Let me actually go through my top 5. And then Kip Moore was 3rd. Ernest was 4th, and then John Foreman was 5th. I got beef with this because, and I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna go to Spotify. Ernest, like I listened to Ernest, but I didn't listen to him that much.
Oh shoot, hold on, pause.
And so if I go to pause, what do I need to?
Hey, wait, cut these next like 5. Oh wait, no, okay, never mind.
Huh?
There's a part right there where some tab that was not supposed to go on my left screen went on my left screen.
Gotcha.
So it popped up. You might want to cut that. Might not continue.
Okay. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought, and now I'm doing. Okay, here we go. But I was talking about. I don't think Ernest was that high. He had a good, solid album and stuff like that, but I just don't.
No, I feel you though. Ernest, like, he was my second most listened to country artist this year, and I was like, I didn't think I listened to Ernest that. I mean, I really liked Ernest's music, but I was just like, wow, because he only has a 10 and a 9 song album. So I'm like, I listened to it that, and I mean, yeah, Flower Shops was my most listened to country album this year. I was like, oh,
yeah.
It's funny how those things work, because it's like there's some albums I thought surely American Heartbreak with the 34 songs, like with how much I listened to that would take. No, it was Flower Shops.
Sure. I don't know. Okay, so well, I'm just thinking. Sorry, I was saying sure.
I know.
It's just me. Sorry. It's weird because something must be going on with my Spotify thing. Either Spotify is wrong or Spotify is wrong, and I feel like Spotify is wrong because I just don't think I listen to some of those artists that much. So if I just pulled it up on Spotify, or Spotify. I went from December 1st of last year to December 1st of this year. I don't know what the exact time frame that they do the Wrapped is, but that's just what I'm going to say it is. Because that's when the Wrapped comes out. So I figure if that's when Wrapped comes out, that would make sense if that's when it starts and stops. Lizzie McAlpine was first with 440 streams. And then Kip Moore was second. But Kip Moore was third on my rep, so it's like, okay. And then Morgan Wallen was third. And so it's like, okay. And then John Foreman was fourth, who was in my top 5, but he was 5th on Spotify. And then Dreamer's Circus, who we've talked about, was actually 5th because I listened to them so much while I was doing homework and stuff. So it's like, what? And then, okay, so Ernest was in my top 5. On Spotify, he's my 15th. It's like,
that's
what? That's what I'm saying.
That's
and I didn't think
big drop.
I didn't think I listened to him that much. And then who else was it? Wild Rivers was pretty high up.
Can we really not trust the stats?
They're only 11th. And so I'm like, there's some, like, yeah, their Ernest and Wild Rivers were near the top, but they weren't, like, at the top. So I don't know, maybe Spotify is wrong, but I feel like it's not, because it just seems right. That seems right that I listen to them that much. But
I don't have,
anyway, I'm not like,
I don't have a Apple Stats to confirm. I just have whatever Apple Replay gives me. I'm like, I guess this is right. But at the same time, I see that I listen to Daniel Caesar more than Morgan Wallen, which
maybe doesn't feel right.
But maybe I just did. Like that's the funny thing is how perspective works. Like I thought, I mean, to be completely honest with you, I did not think I listened to Morgan Wallen, but he was my most streamed country artist this year again. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
I think Daniel Caesar, I'm like, but even then I listened to Daniel Caesar more than I tell you what though, I did go through like I do like a lot of Daniel Caesar's music. I do love all of his albums, but I was like,
Yeah.
man, I did not know.
Yeah, I think it helps that like I probably have a decent amount of Morgan Wallen's songs and multiple playlists, and so it's probably just like a passive over time. I just rack up 338 streams
And I think
a year.
And I think it's because, like, some artists, I'll go through phases. I listen to this person so much for, like, 2 months. I listen to this person so much for, like, 2 months. Whereas Morgan and a lot of his music, it's like I just listen to it every now and then consistently through the whole year, and it just adds up. It just keeps adding up. Same as Mac Miller. Jumping out of country again.
Sure.
Mac Miller was my, behind the weekend, my second most streamed artist this year. And, like, I was obsessed with... I really dug through his whole discography last year. Like,
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I was not surprised that he completely ran away with my replay last year. Kind of like what The Weeknd did this year. But, like, this year, I was, like, second most? Like, I really... Not that I was sick of him, but I just didn't really go back to his... I kind of moved on. I moved on to other things, and I didn't listen to his... And I'm like, second most? That one was one where I was like, I don't know how correct that is. Because that seems way off. But, oh well.
No, but that's a good point when we were talking about the just passively kind of racking up streams for some artists in the background. Need to Breathe is one for me. They're number 6 on Spotistats. It says in the past, from December 1st of this year to December 1st of 2021, I listened to them 289 times. And it's probably just because I have so many of their songs, and I think I probably might have gone to one of their albums a couple times throughout the year, but so I just listened to them so much.
Taylor Swift is nuts. Taylor Swift.
What do you mean?
Taylor Swift was one of my most listened to artists this year, because when I was doing the Taylor Swift video, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, I went through her discography like 1.5 times, but then you pile that on with like Folklore, an album I go back to a lot, and some of her older stuff. And I had like 800 minutes of Taylor Swift, and I was like, which isn't anything nuts, bro. Some girls are nuts though. Like,
I know.
Them Swiftie fans, bro.
I know.
Them
I know.
Swifties
No,
I
here, wait,
diss.
actually,
I saw one with 27,000 minutes.
Here, wait. I can go to. I can find somebody that's higher than that probably. Here, wait. Give me a
Oh
second.
my gosh, I was like, bro, I listened to 46,000 minutes. You're telling me that, like, 60% of the time I was listening to music, you were listening to Taylor Swift specifically?
Okay, so if I go to Taylor Swift's artist page, is that reversed or is that correct? For
No,
you?
I can
you
see
read
that. I can see that.
Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, and you can see an artist's top listeners, and it'll show their all-time stats.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be disgusting.
It's not focusing on it. But this person,
I can't read it.
that person right there,
Yeah.
753,000 minutes, almost 1 million minutes.
Okay, no. So no. So let's do some math here, okay? Legit. I'm getting my calculator out. 365 times 24 is 8,760. 750. Is it specific or how many minutes?
It says 753,133 minutes. So 753,133.
Wait. 753,113?
Uh-huh. So it's about 750,000.
And I'm dividing that by 60.
Yeah.
60 minutes make an hour. That's
12,551.
12,551. Which is like, and there's only 8,700.
And then if you divide it by 24, you can find the days, I think, right?
So 12,551 divided by, well, that's 522 days. So
You've spent 522 days of your life listening to
this year.
No. That wasn't no. That's lifetime. I said that was lifetime. But even then, that's a year and that's almost 2 years of your life. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's wild.
Bro.
Taylor Swift fans are built different.
It's a cult. It's a cult, bro.
I think. Here, wait. Let me see if I can. I might be the top. I know.
But if you were
I'm pretty
listening
sure.
to Taylor Swift that much, you can't be listening to anything else. Like,
The
it must
most
be all you listen to.
The most I've ever listened to an artist, I can go to top lifetime for myself. I think it should. It's still Josh Turner, and it's loading. Sorry, I've listened to 11,206 minutes of Josh Turner, and 3,092 streams.
So like, I know a girl who like almost tripled that this year on Taylor Swift. It's interesting.
Yeah,
like, I can go
insane.
on iTunes and see my most played songs of all time. Like, I can see them sorted by plays according to iTunes. But this is so wrong. Or Apple Replay is so wrong. Because it is saying I've listened to Seven Summers 110 times. But Seven Summers is my most played song of 2020 with like 75 streams. And last year it had like 60. So we're already... And then that means I never listened to it this year.
Ooh, we can do a fun little...
So I'm just saying, like, either iTunes is wrong or Apple Replay is wrong, because that doesn't add up at all.
Hey, we can do a fun little thing real quick before we move on.
Okay.
What do you think my top song was? And we have talked about it on the podcast.
Oh,
before.
pressure. Well...
We've talked about it on probably more than one episode, actually.
So, you said Ernest is way up there, but who is the number one again?
So, according to Spotify, not Spotistats, Lizzie McAlpine is one, then Kip Moore. Or, sorry, no. Lizzie McAlpine, Wild Rivers, Kip Moore, Ernest, and then John Foreman.
Is it one of those?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, so
Oh! I got
What?
a good guess.
Okay.
I think this is a good guess. Then again, Mitch Russell.
It is
Yup.
Then Again by Mitch Russell.
Yup.
How'd you, what reminded you? How did you think of it?
I just remember how much, because it was like 3 separate times you brought up that song. And
It
you were
just,
like, I'm
like,
listening
it-
to this so much.
I still am. It's just that good.
Let me see.
Then Again was my, crap, what was the, oh no, I'm fumbling the bag. The Morgan Wallen song with Ben Burgess, Outlaw. It was my Outlaw of this year. Because I listen to Outlaw a decent amount. Yeah, I think I listened to Then Again like 100 and something times. I can find it real quick.
Do you want to guess what my most played country song was?
I honestly, I don't think I have a guess.
It's not obscure at all. I'll give you that. It's not
It's
obscure.
not
at all.
obscure.
Like, it's a pretty, like, if you heard that, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not some random deep cut. It's from somebody.
Did it come out and is it like new?
Came out this year.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Watermelon Moonshine.
No. Good.
What
though.
about here? Wait,
It
can I
was-
guess one more?
It was up there.
Can I guess one more time? Crap. What's it? What's it called?
I think the fact that you're trying to recall what it's called already means you got it wrong. But I want to hear.
No. Well, I know what song I'm talking about. It's just whatever. Like the Parker McCollum song that came out.
Handle on You
Handle on You. That was
No.
gonna be my other guess.
was also, well, not as much as Watermelon, but was up there moderately.
Okay.
Do you want one more guess, or do you want me to just... Again, it's not anything deep at all. Well,
Last Night Lonely. I'll just throw that one out there.
no,
Last Night
it was
Okay.
Don't Think Jesus, which we talked about on this episode.
Fair enough.
I really like.
I guess okay. I should have guessed a Morgan Wallen song.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like the fact that like it's not obscure
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah, I should have guessed.
Then it was Feet Wanna Run, which deservingly so. I thought
Feet.
What?
I was okay. Actually, I was
Feet?
feet. I was. I was
Feet.
no. So that song came on yesterday. Actually, this is funny. I'm like, I think I was in my car, and I'm just like, it started. I was like, I started feeling. You know how when you think about something way too much, and then it starts to like sound weird or feel weird or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to that song, and I'm like, damn, there's feet in this song. I'm like, this is
Feet.
gross. Like, because I'm just thinking about feet. Like, my feet want to run, and I'm just like picturing like just
Hairy
dog
toes.
got the dogs out, you know, just like
Feet.
yeah. I was like, feet.
Now it's happening. Now I'm thinking like, bro, feet. That's weird. What kind of word is that?
Yeah, the thing is, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. It was just random yesterday. I'm driving and I'm just like, there's feet in this song, man. I was in the top 0.5% of Lizzie McAlpine listeners this year.
That's I wish that's a stat I wish I had.
Yeah,
I wish I like not that.
You probably would have been decently up there for the weekend with like you had like almost 3,000 minutes is a decent
3,800. So it's nearly 4,000.
Okay. Then you probably would have been higher than I was with Lizzie McAlpine.
I don't know about that because you got to think like the Weeknd.
Well, the
is
Weeknd's
literally
bigger.
one of the biggest artists.
Yeah,
or maybe the
that's
biggest.
true.
But there are some artists like Adam Melcher, bro. I thought he was gonna be higher. I can't lie.
Sure.
Holy crap, Adam Melcher has been like my guy in 2022. Like I know the Weeknd kind of swamped my streaming numbers, but like when I look back, do you kind of have like an artist that sort of represents each year for you, or is that just me?
No, Lizzie McAlpine is
Like
mine.
when I think of, yeah,
Lizzie McAlpine would be mine this year. Last year, oh man.
like when I think of 2020, or when I think of 2019, Midland. When I think of 2020, I'm thinking Brett Eldridge or Frank Ocean. When I'm thinking last year, I'm thinking like Mac Miller. Sorry, this year, Adam Melcher. And so, I mean, granted, I was kind of late. Like I only found him at the start of the summer, so I only had like, I don't know when they stopped. Well, they stopped taking stats in like October or November. So I only had like 5 months of Adam Melcher, but I listened to just under 1,000 minutes of him. And he's he's smaller. I would have liked to see that percentage I would have liked to see on Adam Melcher because I'm curious. Like nearly 1,000 minutes, how committed's the fan base? He is coming also to Canada. He's coming to Toronto in February. And I kind of want to go see him. I might not be around, but I kind of want to make the trip to Toronto and see him live. Well, I do. If I can, I will. But yeah, I could have seen him and Noah Kahan because they were touring together, but they were literally like 4 days after my concert at the same venue that I went to with some friends. So I was just like, I cannot make another like day drive all the way down for another concert like 4 days later. Completely like spontaneous too. But it was there. If I wanted to make the trek and dish out the money and get the time off work, I could have, but I was like, I can't bring myself to do this. But man, that would have been sick.
I'm saying sure a lot. I need to stop.
Because I think like Adam Melcher and Noah Kahan, those have been my two. And now, granted, Noah Saint is like a exaggerated case of Adam Melcher, where I literally like September is when.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're still pretty fresh on him.
So exactly. So like I found him in like February or something, I have a feeling he would have been him and Adam Melcher, man. They were my guys this year, honestly.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, you got me thinking about that. I think 2020 for me was probably like Kip Moore, because that's when I really like actually listened to his whole discography and was like, Slow Hearts is a banger album. This thing is amazing, because I love that album. I love Slow Hearts by Kip Moore. And then his new album also came out that year. And so I listened to him a ton. Like, he's in my top 3 artists. It's him, Josh Turner, and Morgan Wallen. And I have only been listening to Kip Moore and Morgan Wallen for, like, less than 2 years. Mm-hmm. Both of them, respectively. So it's like, I've listened to them a lot in the past years. And if I'm being honest, probably Morgan Wallen is who took over my 2021. Just because
I was going to say Mac Miller, then Morgan Wallen. Those are, like, my two.
Yeah, just because of Dangerous, and there really was like massive. I put in from December 1st, 2020, and then December 1st, 2021. I listened to Morgan Wallen 1,382 times in that time.
That's a lot of minutes.
Period. Well, it's actually. So you said you listened to The Weeknd. Like almost 4,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
This was like This was like 4,500. So it's like just
Quite a bit of
maybe
Morgan
like
Wallen.
yeah, just a little bit above what you listened to the weekend this year. But yeah, that's our Spotify Wrapped. I will here actually. Let me just because maybe people are interested. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Maybe I should shut up. But my other top songs. What I liked about this was maybe my most varied Spotify Wrapped that I've ever had.
That's why I didn't like mine, because it was probably my least. There's a few albums that like all the songs from the albums are on here, and I'm just like, man, there's really not much variety here. Like,
yeah, it's interesting to see how mine has changed. But okay, so basically, I'll just kind of do I already told you top artists. My top genre was contemporary country. Top songs. Then Again is number 1. Crazy One More Time Reimagined by Kip Moore is number 2. Then Give Me Jesus, which is a worship song by Jeremy Camp. And then The Commission, which is also a worship song. And then What Would I Do Without You, which is a song by, I'm going to forget his name. I love it when that happens. I know the artist's name, but I just can't think of it. But it's all good stuff, probably stuff that people don't know. And then I listened to 67,000 minutes of music. It's interesting, not last year, but the year before, I had almost 100,000 minutes of music listened to.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Which is a lot. And partially because the job I had at the time allowed me to listen to music, like, a decent amount. And the thing is, when I'm at work, I don't like to listen to music unless I can just, like, sit down and focus on a thing and I don't have to worry about anything else. Like, if I'm working with kids, I'm not going to put on music, you know what I'm saying? Like, but when I first... Why was that?
Bro, it just works with kids, that's all.
Sorry. I guess I should have said that differently.
No,
if I'm working with students, anyway.
No, it's too late.
That was back when I first started at Anderson Elementary, and that was when COVID was first happening, so stuff was still digital. So I wasn't, like, in person. There wasn't a whole lot of physical interaction. Most of what I was doing was, like, organizing stuff and, like, just kind of, like, grunt work. And so I was able to just, like, I can remember listening to those Morgan Wallen pre-release songs, like, on repeat at work. I loved, at first I remember hating Living the Dream, and then once I got past, like, the weird, once I got past that, I was like, this song's fire, bro. I listened to it so much, but yeah. It's interesting. So I think that helped. I listened to music so much that it just got that high. But yeah, around 70,000 is still pretty big though. But there was real quick before we move on to what are we listening to? A kid that goes to my church. He's in my youth group. I saw his Wrapped. He listened to Panic at the Disco for 14,000 minutes this year.
That's
and I was
cause for concern.
Yeah, that's what I was. I was like, bro.
I saw Yeet on somebody's Spotify Wrapped, and I was like, that is a soul in need of, like, maybe
it's a cry for help.
Maybe it's too far gone. Maybe there is no help that can do. But I think we're gonna move on to what are we listening to.
Yeah, we are.
And you know what? I'm going to take the reins. Evan, what are you listening to?
Evan, what are you listening to?
Funny you ask, Evan. Jaren, I didn't need you to ask me.
Jaren, I didn't ask.
So, I have been listening to an EP called Recently by Liana Flores. And it is from 2019. It is singer-songwriter. It's pretty short. 5 songs, 14 minutes. By no means a big thing. It is trying to describe the vibe. Very lo-fi. I almost want to say like pre-Maggie Antone vibes. Like just
Maggie before Maggie.
Maggie before Maggie was Antoning.
Oh my gosh. We have to Sorry, I really liked that.
Just start verberating or
we'll have to
people's names verbs.
Verbs, yeah. Well, or adjectives or whatever. Well, I feel like we have to keep using that whenever we talk about Maggie Antone.
She's been Antone.
By the way, she has an EP coming out in like
she
a week and
does
a half.
of covers, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, it's like literally just her and either a poorly recorded or just like a very dead sounding guitar, like a pickup that wasn't plugged in or something. Really nice sound, very pretty, lots of like atmosphere in her vocals, lots of harmony. I found it. Now I'm gonna go get a little random. I found it because for some reason I've just found myself on this or in this weird lane of YouTube that I've been loving lately, and it's these like super lo-fi vlogs that are like maybe 6 minutes long, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna go for a walk this morning, and it's literally just like, there's one British girl I absolutely love watching. She's, oh shoot, what's her channel name? It's like Carrie's Rachel or something. It's like Carys Rachel, I believe. She is such a vibe. Like I will happily. Caris, is that? I don't know.
Maybe we'll spell it again. I'm sorry.
CAR like car, YS.
Yeah, it's probably Karis. I've met a girl named Karis before.
Well,
I think it's spelled differently.
I never had, but maybe that's it. But like, just such a vibe. I just sit down for like 8 minutes and watch her talk about something. Watch her just go on a hike or something. But the music, but there's a lot of different random YouTubers I've suddenly found myself watching. The music is it's very chill, calming, gentle, like lo-fi music. And she has, this Carys Rachel person uses stuff that sometimes evokes a bit more European feeling.
Evan's just over here crying, watching a 6-minute vlog, getting in his feels.
It feels like I'm on the English countryside. She picks good music. And so I didn't find that through, I didn't find this EP through her, but I was...
thanks for letting us know then.
Like, this guy's unreal. Anyways, I found it because I went on... I was looking for music like that. I was on different
I cracked myself up.
I was on different indie folk playlists, and I came across this, and I'm like, wow, this is like exactly what I was looking for. Big vibe. Recently by Liana Flores, 2019. Check it out.
Okay. What I'm listening to is probably semi-predictable, and we haven't talked about it, so I'm just using it as an excuse to talk about it.
Then, no, we talked about Lainey.
You think I was gonna say Lainey Wilson?
That's why I was confused. We have not talked about it.
No.
Do I know what it is?
I think so. Probably.
You
know me, so you would probably know.
I don't know.
It's gosh. This is Bo Armstrong's new album.
Right.
And honestly, we probably could have maybe talked about it on an episode, but we didn't. So so here we are talking about it now. I don't know if you listened to it yet.
I'm not I'm not being stupid, right? Because I heard people talking about this album. I heard people like saying like, Bo Armstrong new album, right? I've heard this, whatever. It's not on Apple.
It's just not there?
Everyone's been talking about it, and I'm like, it's not there.
If Your Tired Heart Is Aching?
Not a thing. His only album on Apple is Chasing Ballads still. And so I keep forgetting. Like, I'm going to maybe find it on YouTube, but I keep forgetting because I can't download it. And then, like, every time I get in my car, it's like I'm seeing Bo Armstrong's name. So I haven't checked it out yet. Literally, there's no way this is going to focus good enough. But, like, well, you can see there's only one square there. That's his only album listed. There's no If Your Tired Heart Is Aching. And I'm kind of pissed off. Where is my Bo?
Yeah.
This is like what happened with Zach Bryan's Elizabeth. Now that I hope Bo Armstrong is having similar issues with Apple just being a bum. But if he's not putting it onto Apple, I am boycotting him. That's it. I'm not putting you. You're not
I can't imagine.
You're not gonna make a fantastic album and then not let me listen to the next one. I'm assuming it's Apple being a bum.
I I nominated the album for I think best album of the year.
Yeah, and I'm like, I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Like I've heard people talking about it.
And I nominated it not knowing full well that it wasn't gonna be at the end because just not enough people know who he is. But you know, I had to. I have to.
Yeah.
Like I just have to because it was one of my favorite 3 albums of the year. It's just really good. I have one slightly negative thing to say, and it's not even really that negative. It's more just like a minor complaint. I love Bo. Me and him are kind of internet friends, as we have talked about before on the podcast. I have no ill will towards him or anything like that. I love this guy.
Wait, I found it.
Oh, you found it.
It's just
What
not.
happened?
I had to do some searching, like some specific searches on Apple. I'm downloading it now, but it's not on his artist profile. Bo Armstrong,
Interesting.
if you're listening to this, your album is not on your Apple profile. But now I
Maybe
have it.
just maybe DM him and send him a screenshot.
But it very well could be my phone tweaking. I have an absolute tweak show of a phone, so who knows? But I might send him a message.
Okay,
Like, hey, yo, I don't know if this is
Apple
a-
people sound off. Let us know.
If other Apple listeners are having this issue, let me know. I'm gonna text good old Bo and tell him. I don't know what he'd do, but. Ooh, now I have another album. To listen to.
Well,
Let's go.
I would imagine he'd want to know because he'd want people to be able to find his album. I
Right,
know I
yeah.
would if I was an artist, but
No, I kind of would want to put out an album and then no one could find it. You know, like no one can listen to it.
But anyway, what I was saying, this album was kind of rolled out progressively. So basically, it's a 10-track album, which I love that it's only 10 tracks. I just love that. And I think there were. Sorry, I'm looking at the track list just to double check.
I like these names. I haven't even listened to it, but I like these names.
Yeah, it's a very.
He thinks he'll keep her. That's gonna be good. I know that one.
Oh no, it is good. It's one of my favorite ones off the album. It's actually a cover.
Oh, really?
It's the only. I think all the other ones were written by him, but that one's a cover.
Who originally wrote that?
I don't remember. I did know, but I don't. I did know, but now I
love
don't.
how confidently you said that. I don't remember.
Yeah. I just don't remember. I'm not even gonna pretend to. I did know, but I couldn't tell you. But I think 3 of the tracks were not released beforehand, and all of them were like over the past year slowly released. And I hadn't actually listened to every single one before. I had to listen to most of them, but I knew the album was coming out and he had released one like a month before, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait. So that's like my one complaint. The reason it's not a super big complaint for me is because I think all of the songs are good. So it's like there was the whole Eric Church thing where it's like you're releasing like a million songs in preparation for this thing, or maybe actually no, it's more similar to Cody Johnson when he did like half of the album. And I think that one was fatiguing maybe because I felt like some of those songs were just kind of like, some of them were not as, I mean, that's a good album. We all know I like that album. I think it might have been my favorite album from last year. But I don't know. It just felt different. Maybe it's because Bo was just doing it so casually.
Yeah,
he wasn't making a big deal out of it. Yeah, I don't know. And I think he was also trying it just because he wanted to try out a different rollout model. And I think it worked out pretty well for him because every single one of these songs actually has a pretty decent amount of streams, and I think him releasing them how he did, like a few months apart, allowed each of them to kind of get their own kind of like time in the sun. And so like places like Spotify has added him to some playlists, and like when he releases them one at a time, I think it allows him to do that. But this is a really good album. My standouts for me, I love Why Dallas. He Thinks He'll Keep Here is a standout. Stranger in My Bed is kind of like, it kind of hits you if you really listen to the lyrics. Like,
Noted.
I at first, you're just from reading the title, and you might think, I don't know. Do you want me to talk about it, or do you want to just hear it on your own?
Low key, kind of just want to hear it on my own. I'm intrigued.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I
then I'll let
literally
you.
might go for like a late winter dark walk and listen to this album right when we finish recording.
You should do that. I
think I
encourage that. Which Way's Home, the closer, really good too. None of the songs are like bad. I enjoy all of them. He does have some transitional tracks that I love. I love when Bo kind of. Okay, he has his. Have you heard his cover of When the Party's Over?
Yeah.
Because I've talked about it. So the vibe of his cover of that song, his version of that song, that vibe he kind of has on the transitional songs, and
So
the
are there
opener.
like songs that are like interludes?
Yeah, so the first song is so there's really only 8 tracks if you're excluding the interludes. So there's an intro, and then the 9th track interlude leads into the last song.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, and the vibe that it sets, it's like did you hear his cover of Cool by Dua Lipa?
No, actually.
Okay, because that's also really good. But I don't know, like, for some reason, I mean, he does have a sound. His songs all kind of, like, he has his kind of vibe. But I just love the instrumental tracks on this thing. I don't usually love instrumental tracks so much on albums. Like,
Thing is,
like
I normally do, so now I'm really hyped.
Well, I do on some albums, but like the one Hayley Whitter's one was cool, but like to me that one just, I don't know. Bo Armstrong has a more chill vibe, and when you do an instrumental thing in your Hayley Whitters, it just, I don't know, it doesn't work as much for me maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, it's like the opener, the intro. The intro just kind of sets the tone, I think, really well. It's ambient and acoustic. And just like, ooh, like this is a really good album. If you wanted to say you're like, you can't sleep and you want to like, you're reading a book at like 1 a.m., which is, I've done before. I've been in college. This is an album that I could throw it on then, and I could throw it on in the middle of the day. I feel similarly about this album that I do maybe like Give Me a Minute by Lizzie McAlpine. I think it's
This
really
better
good.
live up to...
I don't know. I think it's really good. As you know that I like Bo Armstrong a lot, so I don't.
Yeah.
So also take that into consideration. So,
But I trust your taste.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's good.
Do we want to do Who the Frick? Do we want to just do one?
Let's just do one.
Yeah.
Just do one. Wrap it up because we've been going for a little while.
It's been a great episode. If you ask me.
Evan is gonna host.
I'm hosting Who the Frick. I
Yeah.
know who the frick it is this time, guys.
That was a funny joke. Everybody laugh.
Man, shut up. All right.
Man.
Okay.
Okay.
So some of these clues are a little tough, but then there's one that at the end, if you don't get it with the third clue, I will be kind of surprised. All right.
Okay.
First is quite broad. This artist is from Nashville.
All right. Oh wait, Jelly Roll.
No.
Dang. I only know that is because I was reading his Wikipedia yesterday because I was like, who is this guy? Like I was like, who is this guy? Like who is Jelly Roll?
How did he be? You know,
and
I
so
kinda
I was
wanna do
reading
that
his
too, 'cause
Wikipedia.
I still feel like I don't have a lot of knowledge on Jelly Roll.
Yeah. That was my
okay.
guess. So
So
go ahead and do the second one.
This artist went to Belmont University and got a major in music with an emphasis on piano. I didn't know that was a thing. At university,
Belmont.
he fell in love with artists like Nirvana and Franz Ferdinand, which he claims has a large influence on his style. So it's someone a little more... It's not too straightforward. Again, clue is kind of vague. Next, if you don't get it here, next one, I hope.
Belmont, Nirvana. Because I feel like when you first said Belmont, I had a couple ideas, but then you said he, and I was thinking of some girls.
Did I give that away?
You said he.
Okay,
You did say
well,
he.
now you know that.
Nirvana. like that makes me think Coetzel. Maybe I'm honing in on that too much, and it's not Coetzel. He's not from Nashville. There's no way. I
hope you don't.
Yeah, that's not what I'm running with. I'm just trying to think. And wait, you said you said Nirvana and who?
Franz Ferdinand.
Oh, I've heard of that guy, but I have no idea really who he is. So that doesn't help me.
Yeah, that really doesn't. This clue's really not much for you.
Who should I? I remember reading. I don't know. I don't think this is a repeat. This is my best guess, sadly, and I'm just gonna go with William Beckman.
No.
And the reason I did that is because I think I've seen it in an interview. He talked. Well, yeah. I don't think he's been to Belmont. But I think he had talked about bands that had influenced him, and I think for some reason Nirvana might have been one, but that's probably wrong. Go ahead and that was just like a meme.
Well, third clue is a bit of a
okay.
big one.
So if I don't get this,
it's kind of rough, especially when you pair it with the other clues.
Okay.
It really as far as what he sings about and whatnot, like. This artist's parents... All right,
I'm ready, Evan.
I guess I can say his. We already know it's a guy.
Okay.
His parents moved from Taiwan in the early 1980s.
Wait, hold on. Oh. I think I know who this is.
Probably.
This is gonna be really awkward if I just...
if it's wrong.
If I guess a person and then I'm like, oh, I'm racist all of a sudden.
No, what? If anyone does that, racist. Come to me, okay? Come to me.
I was joking.
I thought it was cool. So I was like, yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh, but that makes me. Is it that? Is it this? I'm gonna Gabe Lee.
Yeah, it's Gabe Lee.
Okay. I was. And that makes sense now.
There's not a lot of like Taiwanese country sing like people have that. Yeah. That's not a big thing. And then.
But if you didn't know who Gabe Lee was, you would have no idea.
Oh yeah, you'd have zero clue. But like then you can see because he does sing about Nashville a little bit, like farmland and stuff, and then he has some more. A lot of his music is very like intricate and what's the word I'm looking for? Theoretically, there's a lot going on with a lot of his music, so that's why I thought maybe the major at university and whatnot.
I thought that would have been funny if you had given me the Taiwan clue, right, and then I guessed Gabe Lee, and it just I'm just like, and I guessed Gabe Lee, and it just isn't Gabe Lee. It's just like, oh, okay.
Well, I said Nashville, and you said William, or who'd you say? Sorry,
I did guess William Beckman when you said that.
Was it not? No, you guessed William Beckman after the university. Who's your first guess again? Am I completely blanking? Jelly Roll.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry. The Nashville clue was the first clue.
Yeah, I would have Anyways, yeah. So we're just doing. Do you want to do a second?
My friend's been watching basketball in the other room without me for almost 2 hours.
Okay. He needs companionship. That's all right.
Yeah, he needs companionship.
Thank you, everyone.
He's been eating Taco Bell and just watching NBA basketball.
He
was like, "I'll be all right, man," and I'm like, "Okay."
He desperately needs you. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the latest edition of Waves on the Shore. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Send us some messages, what you want to hear about, all that stuff. We got some fun Christmas stuff planned. Some fun year. I'm
excited for our year-end stuff.
I am just so excited for a specific thing we agreed upon. A specific Christmas night. Do you remember which one?
Yes, I remember, I think. It has nothing to do with... It doesn't really have anything to do with music, if I remember correctly. Does it? Or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. That's awkward. We're not on the same page.
Hold on, because I need to confirm.
Sometimes me and Evan are on the same wavelength, and sometimes we're just not. Like sometimes you're sucking a homie's foot, and then
wait, bro.
Next thing you know, podcast is over.